Ladies and gentlemen, I want at the outset to congratulate the 17 new fire officers, the recruits who have joined the ranks as trained fire officers in the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services. As a new fire officer, you've moved from being a novice to a junior officer with training in the basics of firefighting and in the use of firefighting equipment, which was outlined by Mr. Williams as you undertook in your course. I want to say that firefighting is serious work. The Fire and Rescue Services is a very important department in the national security apparatus of the country because they not only fight fires, but they engage in any major rescue operation that is needed at any time in the country. And therefore, we need skilled persons at all levels, females and males, who can handle themselves well in terms of emergency. It brings with it, therefore, a high level of responsibility because people who are in fires or in accidents or in some dangerous situation, when they see the fire officer on the scene, they would expect some relief. And one would hope that you 17 fire officers who have been trained would be able to bring some relief to people who are in need of help. It seems to me that you must, as you proceed, develop a high level of, let us say, obedience, a high level of skill, a high level of discipline, probably the better word, in your interactions with your superiors, because that saves lives. When you're on the scene of a major fire, we can't have people who are not obeying the commands of their superiors. We expect you to demonstrate a high level of discipline in your interaction with your colleagues, because people want, when they go on a scene, to have dependable support, because that saves lives. And of course, we want to ensure that you have a high level of disciplined interaction with the general public, the people who you serve, the people who you will meet, whom you will meet at any scene. I want to say that you should not see your training as the end, but you should see this as being an ongoing or part of an ongoing development. And so you should be a constant student of your trade, a constant student of the art of firefighting. You will have learned the basics, the fundamentals of firefighting. But the real learning and the real test comes on an assignment. Here's a burning house with a young infant inside. What do you do? How do you handle yourself? Because that then becomes the real test. You have learned basic skills over the 12 weeks. But the real test comes when you get in the field and there is a situation in front of you that needs quick action. And sometimes your superiors may not be there to tell you what to do. You have to make a decision on your own. And sound judgment becomes necessary. And so your ability to think on the spot, your ability to make decisions in quick time, your ability to take action without prompting, but the correct action, these are things which only develop over time. And so your training gives you the fundamentals, but it's putting these into practice in real situations which will determine whether you are going to be a good fire officer or an average fire officer or a poor fire officer. It is how you perform in the field which will determine whether you move from being just a fire officer to a senior fire officer and up the ladder. Because your training is the first step really on your way to become part of management in years to come. A few weeks ago, I received the draft statutory rules and orders for the fire service. In 2003, I think the fire service was separated from the police. And since then, the fire service has been floundering a bit between a quasi-police organization. I know you still, some of you call yourself corporals and sergeants and all kinds of things still. Between a quasi-police organization and the civil service. And sometimes you function as a police organization, and sometimes it's the civil service action which comes into play. And so your draft SRO has been sent to the various departments, the legal department, the human resource department, the Ministry of Finance, for comment. So that with these comments, I will then be in a position to send it on to Cabinet for further discussion. So I want to say, hopefully in the next few months, that the status of the fire department will become clearer, and you will be able to definitely determine where you are as a member of the security apparatus in the country. I therefore want to encourage the new members of the fire service. I want to say to you that wherever you're placed, whether you're placed in Nevis or Sandy Point or Tabernacle or at the airport aerodrome, wherever you're placed, you must perform at the highest level. You must perform and carry out some of the, or display some of the attributes that Mr. Samuel outlined, such as courage, especially. But you must know what your duties are. You must know when to ask for help. And you must know at what point you need to make a decision on your own. And so I want to once again congratulate you. I want to congratulate and commend the trainers who would have worked with you for 12 weeks and who would have imparted their knowledge. You have some of the better trainers in the region in the fire services. Some countries send for some of our trainers, like Mr. Samuel and others, to train them at regional level. And so you would have received training from the best in the region. And let us hope that you demonstrate in the months ahead that you would have learned and that you will make the government, the Ministry of National Security, the St. Kitts Fire and Rescue Services, but more importantly yourself, proud as new fire officers. Congratulations and best wishes.
Stay up to date with news, programs, and activities of the government with SKNIS. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud. Follow us on Twitter. And watch our videos on YouTube. Connect with us today. SKNIS, St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service.